I have listened to both sides of the argument, and I think parents don't want then 9 or 10-year-olds watching particular storylines because of the content of the storyline. I remember I was allowed to watch bits of EastEnders growing up, and that was when 20 years ago things were a lot smaller in comparison as to today, or even back then, like for example when things got heated and it was to do with Hattie and Phil, and I think it was to do with his alcoholism. I wasn't even allowed to watch EastEnders at all. My parents thought, and this is kind of an other point, when I was younger and I was watching EastEnders, I used to call my mum and myself as a daft cow. Now if you think about it, that is the language that comes out in EastEnders. It's like, Heggy and Pat, you horrible cow, and you tarts, you slept with my husband, and you know, and I think kind of as a kid I'm like, oh yeah, you cow, you tart. So yeah, it is, you know, it is an influence, you know, on young minds. These days you don't always have to sit down at 7 o'clock through to 8 o'clock with your kids. You can catch up on soaps a different way, like on Team and these days you are able to download an app on your phone and you can watch stuff. If you really don't want your kids to see these, you know, these soaps, which is your call, there are ways and means around it, like watch the soaps when they've gone to bed, you know, and usually parents, if they feel really strongly about something, and that is what they will actually do. I think would have soap storylines on who are yes and no. Occasionally you hear like kind of example with Hat and Ronnie a long time ago with the baby swap. That was just awful, that was horrible. But I think EastEnders wanted a way for Ronnie and Hat to clear each other's throats, because I mean they wanted over the fact that when they were each small, they actually got raped, and then what I believe the writers wanted who was cause drama between these two ladies, and I don't think at that point that they could think of anything else. Or really, these days soaps are trying to reflect on what's going on in the world at the moment in time. Things like bullying, grooming, and it's, as much as you want to shelter your children because you don't want them to see such stuff, on some level it could be helpful. And I know that you're gonna hate me for actually doing this, but if your kids know the things to look for, there is less likely that they are gonna be groomed and things like that. You know, it's a really touchy subject. But I am trying to think about something, because usually things get exposed to teenagers the moment they hit high school. I'm not too sure if things happen before high school now, but my teenage years, if you ask my mum, they were the worst. And I mean, I don't know at times it helps if, like, for example, you want to watch a film with your kids, there's always a key parental guidance. So maybe at your guidance you can slowly start to introduce stuff. I know that most parents are outraged to hear that at schools they are going to have a sex chat with your kids, and I think most parents will be like, that's my job, how dare they take it away. Or a lot of things happen at school. I mean, it's like, as I've talked about in a different video, when I was younger, okay, and me and my sister used to role play and things like never accept a sweet off a stranger, you know, and all this business. But what happens at school when it comes down to peer pressure? Can your kid walk away? You know, there's all sorts of things that goes on, and you know, it is a bit of a stressful time being a teenager, and it, I think, soaps touch on quite lots of different things, but it would help, who at your guidance to let your daughter watch or do, you know, because it's like this. Nobody can think of everything off pat. I mean, you could go, right, I've had the sex talk, I've had this talk, I've had that talk, or there are always new and different things constantly coming up, and I think soaps at times will touch upon stuff. My parents, when I was younger, my parents were a little bit naive to things that were about that they didn't quite understand, and these days, I mean, was it a couple of months ago, I told my dad that I have a Twitter account, and next thing I know he's put a request to follow me. So, you know, I mean, these days parents are glued up and doing things. It was, you know, and I just think if you were able to watch something with your child, I mean, I'd watch things with and at times, you know, she'd go, well, that was a daft thing to do, that was rather silly, wasn't it, you know, and that would be with me and my sister in the room as well. So it's, you know, it's worth it, you know, it's, you know, it is like something that you actually get hands come on it. So, you know, and I know that members of the public have wrote into soaps telling them how, because of what storyline, it has helped, if not saved, their family.